We're looking at section 4.4, which is about combining your percents in your calculations. So, taxes, that's a good example for dealing with percentages. So, suppose that GST is 5%, which currently it is, and PST is 7%, which it isn't in Alberta, but there's probably a province out there where it is. Calculate the total tax and the total cost of a $250 sound system. So, let's look at some literacy information. PST stands for the provincial sales tax, and that percentage varies province by province. Alberta, I think, is the only one that has a 0% provincial sales tax. Everybody else is probably 5 or higher. GST is the goods and services tax, which we all pay, and that's the same across Canada, currently at 5%. It was as high as 7% at one point. You guys probably don't remember that though. All right, so let's have a look at this. There are 3 ways you can find the total tax and cost. We'll look at all of them. Method 1 is calculate the taxes separately. So we're told that GST is 5%. So we can turn that into a decimal by dividing it by 100. 5 divided by 100, which will give you 0.05. To find the GST, you multiply the price by that decimal. So 0.05 times 250. So that's going to give you GST of $12.50. So the GST is $12.50. Now, that's one of the taxes listed. The PST is a different number, it's 7%. So we need to convert that to a decimal as well by dividing by 100. So 7 divided by 100 is 0.07. And then we're going to multiply that decimal number by 250. So 0.07 times 250, and that gives you 17.50 or $17.50. for the PST. So we have a GST calculation, we have a PST calculation. Now we can add those together to get the total tax. So $12.50 for the GST, $17.50 for the PST. When you add that together, it's $30. So the cost of the item plus the total tax will give you the total cost of what you actually need to have in your pocket ready to pay. So $250 plus 30 means that you actually need $280 to be able to buy that sound system. So that's one technique. Calculate your taxes separately and then add it all together. That's one strategy. Method 2 is combine the taxes percents first and then do the calculation. So GST is 5, PST is 7. You can combine them, add them together. 5 plus 7 is 12. You can change 12% into a decimal by dividing by 100. So that will leave you with 0.12. Then multiply that with the $250 and you'll end up with 30. So then that's $30 tax. 250 plus 30 is again 280. So the total cost of the sound system is $280. So that's method 2. A little bit faster, presuming that you can add 5 and 7 quickly together in your head. In this instance, it's a faster strategy. Now, there is one more technique you can use, and that's combining the cost and the tax percents. So the cost of the item is 100%. 100% of $250 is just $250. So we're creating a percentage for the item itself as well. So it's 100%, PST was 7, GST is 5. We can add those together. So now instead of 12%, like we had over here, now we've got 112%. We can change that into a decimal by dividing by 100. And now we have 1.12. At this point, we can take 1.12 and multiply it by the cost of the item. And that will give you 280. Or the total cost of $280 for the whole system. This technique is a bit of a shortcut. You don't have to calculate the tax first and then add it to the sale price. You can just do it all at once. Assuming that you can quickly add up all your percentages, the 100 plus the 7 plus the 5, convert that to a decimal, to your multiplication, boom, one calculation and you've got your total cost. You don't necessarily recognize instantly what your tax costs are. Although in this case it's pretty easy to subtract 250 from this to see that your taxes are $30. So you've got three different options. I kind of like this one myself. But it may be a personal preference as to which one that you prefer overall. Anyway, next up is a show you know. Give it a go.